Okay, and to start off, I'd like to let you guys know, first and foremost, I've watched no video reviews, I've read no reviews. Basically, I have no clue what the tech industry at large is saying about this device. I didn't want it to affect my own opinion. Had I gone into this knowing certain details about it, I'd be instinctually looking for some of those things that others have pointed out. So, going in cold, no clue, other than the expectation that I have as far as the quality is concerned, which is unavoidable given the fact that I paid $3,500 for this.
Oh, hell no!
It has basically been priced out of the hands of most consumers, unless you're someone like me who's willing to incur a very substantial amount of debt for the sake of making YouTube videos. So, with that being said, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel if you've liked the first minute and a half of this video so far. It's only gonna get better from here, I promise. Let's get it unboxed really quick and see what is the first impression of the feeling of the device itself. Now, I've said this before and I will say it again. Apple has an amazing unboxing experience, and this Vision Pro is no exception to that rule. As I'm removing this top half of the box and sort of unsuctioning it from the base, you're greeted with your first glimpse of the Vision Pro. And Apple has chosen such a great way to display this for the first time. There are no other wires or pamphlets or packaging. It's just a beautiful display case, essentially, for this amazing looking headset. Now, picking it up for the first time, it is very clear that the choice to go with this glass and aluminum structure has definitely had an impact in the weight department, guys. But once again, it's beautiful. Material that they've woven this head strap out of feels fantastic. I already know it's gonna be comfortable. Now, the rest of the stuff in the box, nothing crazy. A polishing cloth to keep that glass clean. You've got an extra light cushion. You also have the information package, which gives you all the setup and all that kind of fun stuff. There's another head strap, the one that has a piece of cloth going over the top of your skull. Battery pack, a nice hunk of aluminum, super nice braided cable, proprietary connection, and also 30-watt power adapter. Okay, now fast forward, you guys, it's been 7 days since I was able to get my first impressions. I have spent countless hours inside this device, trying to use it in as many ways as I could think of. I've done the dishes, cooked dinner, vacuumed the house, just your general everyday activities. I've also used a lot of the built-in apps, as well as lots of things that were available on the App Store. I've played games, I've watched tons of movies and shows, I've listened to music. I've got some thoughts and opinions, but the questions that I wanted to answer, the top three anyway, were number one, what is spatial computing, and is this in fact a different approach to a mixed reality headset when compared to what others are doing, such as Meta? Number two, is it worth the cost of admission? Because as we all know, this boy expensive. So if it is worth it, who for? Who should actually purchase this headset? Is there somebody or a group of people who would truly benefit from having this in their everyday life? And by the way, it's right here. That's why I keep pointing that way. I know, I realize it's it's out of frame, but it is just sitting right here. So that's what this means. I'm not just arbitrarily pointing left down. Okay, now initially getting it into my hands, of course, I felt the heft of it, but I was pretty confident that it would feel good because Apple spent a lot of time on these materials. So sliding it and putting it on my face, I can say I'm actually surprised. I have no complaints, to be honest with you. If anything, I think this rear strap, this single rear strap solution, does an amazing job, and the way that it's able to comfortably situate that weight across a wider section of the back of the head means there's no pressure point on the rear of your skull anywhere. It does feel a little front heavy, but nothing crazy when compared to everything else that we've been using for years. So props for them being able to create something as aesthetically pleasing as this is, while also not really having to sacrifice anything in the way of comfort. Now, with the headset completely booted up, you're able to finally visualize what your world looks like through these pass-through cameras. And I have to say, this one right here, guys, is one of the biggest disappointments for me personally. I was really hoping that the quality of the pass-through cameras and the look and feel of my environment would be on a whole nother level when compared to something like the Quest 3. And yeah, it's better, but it still sucks. You know, if you want this headset in any way to sort of become something that you use daily, your eyes are not going to want to see your home in perfect clarity and then go put this headset on and lose about 50% of that quality just so that you can overlay some digital elements over that world. I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it. I don't know. Disappointment. But moving beyond that, what about the operating system itself? The digital elements of the operating system that are now overlaid over this muddy looking world, well, they look extra good now because the outside world looks so junky that when you bring up, say, a movie screen or a Safari window, it looks fantastic. The ability to now clearly read text within any of these applications is better than I've ever experienced. Looking at a recipe, for instance, in Safari, I can read at any distance, at any size window. There's no sweet spot. You can just always clearly see what's being displayed there. I could see this also being a huge bonus to those who will decide to try to do some work in here, for instance, typing up a document in Word. What else can we use to gauge just how clear these displays are? And the place my mind immediately goes is to movies. I have a ton of movies in my iTunes library. There are many that now have a 3D version available to you to watch in Vision Pro. It is the definitive way to experience a 3D movie. I cannot overstate how amazing 3D movies look inside this headset. It's the best I've ever seen. Open up a 200-foot window and sit back and relax. It's basically one of my favorite features of this headset so far, which may or may not be a good thing. And what else is there? The audio experience being another big one on the list. Apple is claiming that this is the most advanced spatial audio system they've ever created, designed, manufactured. Across the board, this is the one. My thoughts on that are this: the ability for this speaker system to place objects within a 3D environment are the best I've experienced. It's better than the AirPod Maxes. It's certainly better than AirPod Pros. It is a very wide field of sound. The one downside to this is you're very limited in dynamic range, which is really also quite dependent on the proximity of those speaker pods to your ears. I opt to use my AirPod Pros with the headset. Much wider dynamic range of sound. Still has spatial audio, maybe not quite as wide of a 3D space, but it still does the job. And for me personally, that's the way to do it. Now, speaking of computing, what do we have behind the scenes doing all of this super high-tech computational work? Well, of course, we have an M2. It's got 8 CPU cores, 10 GPU cores. We have 16 gigabytes of RAM on board. But not only that, we have another chip in addition to the M2, the R1, which is responsible for taking all of that sensory data from LiDAR, outward-facing cameras, eye-tracking cameras, microphones. All of these different sensors are feeding information to the R1. It interprets that data and streams visuals to your screen at a lag-free 12 milliseconds, creating that smooth experience that you'll notice immediately inside of Vision OS. Talking a little bit about the operating system itself, it's so simple, it's so intuitive. You look at what you want, you pinch your little claw down, it's open, you continue to use your claw to interact with all of the different elements of the screen. You want to raise the volume slider, look at the volume slider, claw that sucker, pull it over to the side, let go. That's so easy, so simple. Anywhere you want to pinch with your little claw, it works great. So get your little pinchers out and start pinching away. My goodness. Oh, God. Forgive me. What about gaming on the Vision Pro? Well, it's a great experience like you'd expect. Nothing groundbreaking here. You do have some mixed reality titles available in the App Store. There's a Lego game, Cut the Rope 3. You can also play things in a large window like NBA 2K. And in the future, I would imagine very soon there's going to be tons of Apple Arcade games ported over to Vision Pro. So the options are going to be quite a bit more expansive over the next couple of months. Now I want to spend a little bit of this last part of the video talking about some of the implications of what this may or may not mean for the future of Apple's computing lineup? Will it become a new category that just seamlessly injects itself into the Mac lineup? Or is this where they see computing in general moving towards in the future? With its current form factor, I think being the most limiting item to this becoming an everyday device, say a similar way as you use a cell phone.
Roll your window down.
What's up?
All the way down.
What?
What are you doing?
What do you mean? It's totally legit, I swear. Our cell phones have become an integral part of our everyday lives. We access so much information. We use tons of these applications regularly. It all happens within the convenience of a small screen that slides in our pocket. So in order for the future of this device to really come to fruition, the big bulky headset, that's not good enough. The interactions with those applications, although novel in the way that they're displayed over your world, that's great, but still not as seamless and as easy to interact with as they are on a cell phone. My point is, if you had any work that needed to be done, if you had a phone call that needed to be made, a FaceTime call, an email needed to get typed up, you want to watch a movie, there's all these things that you can do with it. I really do think that after that initial magic of seeing these applications we're all familiar with, once that magic wears off, we're all gonna go right back to doing it the most convenient way possible, which is to just open up our laptop or to grab the phone out of our pocket. I don't see many people reaching out for the Vision Pro to type up a document in Microsoft Word. Why would you? It's just not as comfortable. It's not as convenient. Doesn't look as good. It's gonna strain your eyes. You're gonna move your head around a lot. You wanna move your head as you type? No, I don't think many of you do. I don't think any of you do, actually. With all that being said, what is this thing to me? Well, basically, Apple Vision Pro, in my mind and in my opinion, it's the world's dopest 3D movie theater. And it's a really expensive 3D movie theater. In its current form factor, its current set of capabilities, I really can't honestly recommend this headset to anybody. Just my humble opinion at the end of the day, it's an amazing piece of tech. It's an awesome glimpse into the future and how we will eventually one day be interacting with these programs that we use from day to day. But as of today, all of these capabilities can be done much easier with our existing devices and at a much lower cost. And there you have it, you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you being here and taking the time to click on my video to hit that thumbs up button. Hopefully, if you liked it, subscribe to my channel. I hope that each and every one of you are having an amazing night wherever you may be. Take care.